what's roofer?
Roofer is a revolutionary.
We're not recording.
The best. Okay. No, I love Roofer. The people are awesome. It's a Canadian company. When you ask me about a house, let's say you give me a house, I type in the address. It measures the entire roof structure, tells me how many squares it is, the pitch, the rake lines, the eave lines, everything that I need to know to price a roof.
Oh, okay.
So 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you used to have to actually measure that yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Take forever in time, dangerous. Now they're actually a software company. I love Roofer. Let me tell you about Roofer. Awesome company. Seriously. They're Canadian. I've made them good friends of mine, and they supported the podcast.
Okay.
So we're thankful.
Okay.
So look into the camera and say, thank you, Roofer.
Thank you, Roofer. I say that right?
Yeah. That's right.
Can't mess that up.
Awesome, dude. Tony Thomason, welcome to the pod, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Tiger Den's hot today. Tony, I've known you for several years, man. You have an infectious personality.
Ooh.
You're very fun to be around.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
My wife would disagree with you. God, what is that? I definitely wasn't always like this.
Okay.
And it comes from, God, I couldn't tell you the year, but it was a while ago at a USA basketball camp that I worked up in Iowa at Wartburg College.
Yeah, I know Wartburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good football team.
Sure. It's a basketball camp. It's ran by Don Schulwalter and a couple other great guys. He brings a ton of really good coaches from all over the world. Coaches from Europe, NBA shooting coaches, college coaches, high school coaches, grade school coaches, really good ones. But there was this coach, and you know how when people make an impact on your life,
Totally.
right? They change your mindset or
Yes.
they do something. You will never forget their name.
Yeah.
And this guy, Brandon Osborne was his name, down in Texas. And he's doing big things down in Texas now. He's got a facility, Abilene, Texas.
He's a basketball coach.
Basketball coach, trainer, savant, right? So, but anyway, he shares this story about a college professor. And this camp goes from we start at 6 a.m. with all these kids. And it goes till 10 p.m.
So are you a student or a coach at this point?
I'm a coach at this point.
Okay.
Right. So I'm coaching. And when we're done at 10, some of us coaches stayed after when all the kids went back to the dorms, and we played a little bit. And then we get back and we shower. And so I'm staying in the dorm with 4 other coaches, and Brandon's one of them. And it's midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And we got to get back up and do it again at 6 a.m. But you're just meeting like-minded individuals, right? And we all have a passion for this. And so he starts sharing the story and talks about how he's got a class, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. People are trying to get to it, right? 6 o'clock hits the clock. Professor locks the door. Some kids didn't make it in, right? They're banging on the doors. So he goes, first things first, take out a piece of paper and a pencil. And I want you to write down what you're grateful for this morning. And so, of course, majority of them are, I made it to class on time. We just saw you lock the door. Crazy. Made it to class on time. I got breakfast this morning, right? I found my clothes, couple simple things. And gives them 10 minutes, and they share those. He's like, all right. He goes, let me tell you what I'm grateful for this morning. And then he jumps up, and he said, this is older professor, 6 o'clock in the morning. He jumps up, he has all this energy. He goes, I got 2 legs that I can run with this morning. I walked to class this morning. I got 2 arms that I hugged my wife this morning. I got a tongue that I told my wife I loved her this morning. Did you tell anybody you loved them this morning? I told my wife I loved this morning, right? I got lips that I gave her a kiss, right? I got eyes that work. You know how many people in this world don't have eyes that work?
True. Thanks.
And you're talking about your pajamas or your bowl of cereal, which is a good one too. You know how many people don't get a bowl of cereal in the morning, So he just goes off on all these things. I have a healthy heart that beats. I can eat food. I have a healthy stomach, and he just goes off on all these things. So after talking to him, my conscious effort, right, to have that mindset was every time somebody asked me how I'm doing. And if you post this clip, everybody that's watching this is going to know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And my world probably could have been shit on 5 minutes ago, but I'm healthy, man. Everything works the way it's supposed to. And I do. I have a loving wife. I have 4 beautiful, healthy kids. I mean, what am I complaining about?
Yeah.
You know,
so true, man. We take so much for granted here in this country. And when I traveled to India when I was in college. I was telling this story to somebody previous. And India is like, it's the inverse of America. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, you're destitute poor. Like they call them the untouchables. Have you ever heard this before? So imagine India, let me give you a few stats. India is 4 times our population. So 1.2 billion people. I think 1.1 something billion people fit into the East Coast of our country. So if you shrink our country from how big it is just to the East Coast from Maine down to Florida, multiply our population times 4, that's India. So dense, so populated. There's just no way you can house that many people. I mean, it's just the amount of closeness you feel with everything is overwhelming.
Okay.
And if you are born into the caste system of being an untouchable, you pretty much can't get out because it's arranged marriages. So your parents pick your spouse, so they're not going to pick somebody who's super poor.
Right.
So you're just like stuck. And there's just like nothing. You would live in a dumpster essentially. I remember going to an ice cream shop in India and I was eating my ice cream. There's these 4 little boys are sitting there like with no shoes on, no shirts on. They're just sitting there watching me eat my ice cream. And I'm like an American, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a white American eating my ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just staring at me. I'm like, I could have been that kid.
Right.
Right. Americans are 5% of the population, man. We're 5%. But we complain like we have like, we can't buy an LCD screen TV, an LED TV for like $200. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so like, I love the American flag. I'm patriotic to the sense. I'm so thankful to be born in this country.
Right.
To build a business, Tony.
100%.
To just like start a business that people start supporting you and you can make income for your family. It's wild.
Yep.
Countries are not like that.
Nope.
It's just, we have an entrepreneur culture here and we need to be very thankful for it because, man, our culture is the backbone of it is small business.
Right.
Speaking of which, you are an insurance agent.
I am.
Let's zoom into that.
Oh boy.
You've been an insurance agent for how long now, Tony?
6 years.
6 years. And before that, what did you do? Just like top line.
Oh boy. Right before that, I was a high school business teacher.
And then high school education?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So 2 years at Dunlap, 6 years at Limestone. And then I was also a high school basketball coach.
That's still a passion of yours, it sounds like.
It is.
And you do still coach.
I help out and volunteer my time as much as needed with my kids' teams. However, with that, I love it when there is a good human being that is willing to volunteer their time to coach my kids and push them. And then I will just sit back and be dad and tell them.
That's a sacrifice, man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, no, they're, Pat, Darren Burkle on the back for here. He sacrifices a lot of his time to coach Kale, who's my 6th grader, for their baseball team. And I volunteer, I help him out. But he's a really good person. He knows the game enough to improve them and push them right at this age level. And so I sit back and I let him do his thing. And I love it because I get to be more of a dad.
Yeah. You can just cheer the team on and not be so intent on the coaching aspect. Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking forward to coaching. I have a son now that's 8 months old and I'm ripping to coach him.
8 months old.
Dude, I'm ready. I'm so ready. My dad was my coach all throughout my life. And so, it's such a special thing to coach your kids.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's unique. It's unique. I'm getting better at changing hats. So coach hat, come home, it's dad hat.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at after every game, just telling them I enjoyed watching you play and then stopping right there. Some games that's hard to do. And then the last thing with that, to keep me focused on saying that is I have 3 non-negotiables, which is real simple. And they're life lessons, 100% effort. Whatever you're going to do it to the best of your ability and do it as hard as you can, right? Be a good teammate. Nobody likes a bad coworker. Be a good teammate.
Talking to you, Trent.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Be a good teammate, right? Yeah. It's not all about you,
yeah.
right? Be a good teammate. And in sports, that's simply as Somebody falls on the ground, go help them up.
Yeah.
Give them a high five. They have a turnover in basketball, right? Hey, you're all right. Let's go. High five, get back.
I think I've heard it said, and I find this to be so true. It's like 90% of it's just showing up.
Yeah.
Just show up. Show up when you're supposed to, on time.
Right.
And just be there for somebody. If somebody's having a kid, or if somebody's, getting married, or if whatever the big events are, just be there.
Right.
And like the rest of it will just take care of itself. But just the people in my life that I respect the most, the people who just continually just show up. You ask them to be there, they're there.
Right.
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 And so in coworking is the same thing. Sometimes you don't feel like going to work.
Yeah.
Just get there.
And when you don't go to work, you screw everybody else over. You're not a good coworker. You're not a good teammate. So be a good teammate. Yeah. And then the last one is positive attitude.
Yeah.
And especially in sports, that is something that you learn to do, because sports are such a failure game.
Yes.
You will fail at everything.
A lot.
Every sport. And sometimes, look at baseball. You're really good if you're a failure.
Right. 300 is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basketball, if you're shooting, 35, 40% from three, that's really good.
Yeah.
You're a failure.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So having a positive attitude. So that's all we do. That's all we focus on. If they did those three things during the game, even if they go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, I enjoyed watching you play.
So you were a high school coach, high school teacher, and then you transitioned, you left. That would be tough to leave education to go into something else. No.
I loved the relationship side of the education, right? Being there for kids, talking through their kind of difficulties. I love that part of it, right? The relationships that you built there with other teachers. But I am competitive, and it's not really a competitive field. And so
coaching or teaching? I guess coaching.
Teaching. Teaching's not very competitive.
I see. You mean to like raise your bar as a teacher? Raise
your bar as a teacher, and just, the better you do, right? You don't get paid more.
I see.
Right? Or the harder you work, you don't get paid more, right? So when I left coaching, I left the high school level to go coach with Coach Weisinger, who is an amazing man, over at ICC. When I did that, I couldn't really teach anymore. So that's what got me out of that. So then when I was coaching there, I was kind of doing odd and end jobs. I reached out to my whole network and was like, hey, I'm looking for a job. And so basically that's how I got with country. I got connected with country doing that, just reaching out to my network. And then the rest was history. Got with country. And then, 6 years down the road, I love what I'm doing.
I looked in the insurance field before I started this business. I was considering buying a book of somebody's book of business and stuff. And I'm so thankful I didn't, for multitude of reasons, which I respect insurance agents, but it's just, it's not my type of work that I prefer to work on. I like exciting stuff. And insurance is like pushing paper. It's necessary, right? But you're signing contracts but it's a grind. Yeah. When I talk to insurance agents and I sat down with lunch with them, they're like, listen, you're not going to make any money for like 2 years. You're going to make a little bit to sustain yourself, but you've got to build a book, and building a book takes time. Right. So
it does take time. However, I will say after my first year, maybe a year and a half, I was making more money than I was teaching. So
I see.
Yeah. I guess when they say you're not going to make any money, compared to what?
Makes sense.
Right. What are you comparing that to?
Yeah.
Insurance agents that have been in it for 20 years. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna make any money compared to them. But no, I love it. And it's not, it's what you make of it. Just like you and your roofing company. Yeah, it's what you make of it.
It is.
I'm on a podcast with Ben Morrow right now. Insurance agent can't be that boring. But no, I try to get out and about of the office. I'll go to clients' homes and meet with them. I'm just not in the office, which that's something people think we are. We just sit in the office, wait for him to call and come in.
No, you're good at that.
Yeah.
You're good at that. You build a relationship, and you played golf with you, played great places, and you've been a tremendous supporter of us. And so when I bought insurance for my first couple of houses, I got a referral from somebody else. I called the agent, bought my home insurance policy, didn't talk to him for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I just kept on going.
Right.
I didn't even know who my insurance guy was. I don't know if that was common, if that's common for a lot of people.
That's very common.
Is it very common?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the roofing industry, it's common for like businesses to start up, shut down. It's like there's a lot of fluff in the industry. A lot of people don't make it after 5 years.
Right.
I would assume the same is for insurance.
Yep.
You've got to really like commit for the long term.
It's about a 2-3 year span. If you can make it after that, then you'll start seeing, if you're out in the community and you're building a network, you'll start seeing referrals. And you'll start building those relationships that you need to grow as a business.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the hardest part, Tony, when you first start? What's like the biggest thing to swallow?
Not even when you first start, but even now, like we talked a little bit about earlier, right? The way the industry is going now, it's hard when I do build those relationships with my clients, and then their rates go skyrocket, and they call me, and they don't want to leave, but they just have to.
Yeah.
And I understand, and I get it, but yeah, that hurts sometimes when I have to call somebody and say, hey, it's going up. You might want to shop around. I'd hate to lose you, but it's probably what's best for you.
Yeah.
That sucks, you know.
Yeah. Especially after you've invested so much time.
Right. Well, the time, and then as an agent, what I feel like my role is that kind of middleman between the company and the client. Right. Let's try to do what's best for the client, and I'm your best advocate to do that, you know. And so when they take the cards out of my hand and I have no power over that, that kind of sucks.
I bet.
Yeah.
So you've been in this industry for 6 years. How did COVID impact the insurance industry starting in 2020 and moving forward to now?
I have a lot more phone call meetings than in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot more Zoom calls. Country went to Microsoft Teams for everything. That was probably the biggest. The pros that came out of it, though, is we have a lot of things now where you can e-sign policies where you don't have to get together, which is it's extremely convenient for the clients, right? They can be in their car. We go over coverages. Yes, let's do it. Bam, we can e-sign everything right there on their phone, get it done, get it taken care of. So that was the nice thing that came out of COVID. It's probably the only nice thing that came out of COVID.
Dude, the masking and the just the hysteria around it. Like, I'm thankful that I'm in the industry that I'm in because we work outside.
Yeah.
So we weren't like required to do a lot of this stuff. But going to people's houses was such a trip. Like, dude, this COVID was that was 5 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
Time has went like warp speed since COVID. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that time was just, remember seeing the videos of people like with like fish bowls in their head going to the grocery store and stuff. Like that was our life for a while. It was so strange. I remember when COVID happened, it was just so odd. Like the world shut down, and then we had to like abide by all these rules, and you go to a restaurant and you have to separate. It was just, I remember going to play golf, and they had us ride in separate carts.
Yeah.
Even though we drove in the same car.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't even hit the ball into the hole.
Right.
It like stood on top. It was so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the life of COVID. Yeah.
It was, I coached during COVID. And so we played basketball with masks on.
Dude, I remember that. That's bizarre.
That was brutal. That was brutal.
Can't breathe.
Yeah. And so we practiced. I always made sure they wore them in practice because we had to get used to it.
That's terrible for your body.
We had to adapt to doing it because then come game time, we had to play it. And the officials regulated it too. I mean, there was somebody up above them telling them they need to be wearing masks.
Man.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. That's such a crazy time.
Yeah.
You played basketball back in the day. So did you play in college as well?
I did.
You played high school. Where'd you play high school ball at?
Limestone High School.
And then where'd you go to college?
Minnesota State, Mankato.
So was it a D2? D2 school.
Yep.
Was that experience transition from Limestone to Minnesota State? Was that like a big jump?
Yes and no. I would say for some, our high school coach, Dave Mott, did a great job of preparing us for that level with the way he ran practices. And so for like the hard work and the dedication that we needed for the college level, I was ready for that. I'll tip my hat to my parents on that also, 100%. But that wasn't a real shock. But when I came in, I was very young for my age. So I was an 18-year-old college freshman, and I was playing against 24, 25-year-old
men.
Yeah, young men that have been in the weight room for 6 years when I hadn't. That wasn't really a thing when I was back in high school to be in the weight room lifting and playing basketball. You only did that if you were playing football, right? And so that was a rude awakening. But my work ethic and little bit of ability allowed me to play all 4 years there. What
were your stats and what was like your average rebounds, points?
Oh God.
Ben, go ahead and cut these in on the.
I wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't a big rebounder. I was a point guard.
Okay.
I was the small guy on the floor at 6'2". So I was a point guard, probably end of, over the 4 years, I think it was like 14, 15 points a game.
That's pretty good.
I was 1,000-point scorer.
That's really good.
And I had over 400 assists. So at one time when I graduated, I was the only player in that program's history to have over 1,000 points and over 400 assists.
That's legit.
Now I think there's like 4 or 5 other point guard players that have done that.
Were you proud of yourself after graduation?
I was.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. No, I had a great time. Obviously, I met my wife there.
She's from Minnesota?
She is. She's from a little town called Avon.
And she believed in the little limestone kid.
And she believed in me. She was younger than me.
Shout out Miss Thomason.
Yeah. She was younger than me. So she came in my junior year. And of course, she came to a game and she saw me balling out. And, I looked good in the jersey, so
the tank.
I was a little more in shape back then. Yeah. So, but no. And then after that, I got to play over in Munich, Germany, which is a whole different world over there. It's crazy.
You mean the basketball league or just the country?
The country.
I see.
100%. Whole different world. The food was amazing. Everybody's on bikes. Everybody was so nice. Put it this way. We went to Oktoberfest, the real Oktoberfest over there, which is crazy. They have what they called beer tents. We go to like a community fish fry and it's a tent. They pop up. And their beer tents are structures, buildings. You go in, there's thousands of people in these beer tents. So the first night we go down to Oktoberfest, me and a couple of my players, we had another American, a guy from Serbia who was crazy, a Russian, another Tony from Brazil, and then a couple German guys. So we go down there, great group of guys, man. And we go down there and we're down there at like 9:00 at night. And by the time we get into one of these tents, everybody's up on picnic tables. They got liters of beer, right? They're posting, cheering, and they're having a good old time. We couldn't get a table. So we're like, hey, we had a couple beers. We went back home. We're going to come back tomorrow. We didn't have practice. We had the day off. We're going to get down here early. We're going to get a table. We're going to make a day of it. We'll have some fun. We'll enjoy it. We get down there the next day. We take the subway, get down there, 9:00 in the morning. We walk into the same beer tent. They had like 10 of these there. We walk into the same beer tent. It's like it's 9:00 at night. Every table was packed. People on the tables. Like, this is crazy.
That is crazy.
So, but it was not. Oktoberfest was nuts. One more story with that. I'm sitting there. I got my liter of beer. I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. My teammates tell me to leave my beer at the table. Well, you're in America. You don't leave your beer, right? You don't leave your beer at the table. Somebody can mess with it or something. So I'm like, nah, I'm not leaving it here. And they're like, no, leave it, your beer here. I'm like, no. So I take my beer and I'm walking down the aisle to go back to the bathroom. And as I'm walking, somebody stops me and they post and they look in your eye and you got a drink. I'm like, drink. I drink. Walk 2 more steps. Somebody else. I'm like, I finish my liter beer before I get to the bathroom, which is a 10-second walk. I'm like, Jesus. So I get back and I put an empty beer down and they're all dying laughing. They knew. Like, we told you to leave your beer here.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of that stuff and it looks like it's just a very unique celebration of culture.
Yeah. If you can go.
Yeah. My next door neighbor's going this year. He told me he's going to Germany.
Awesome.
Shout out to Juan.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
yeah, it's Germany's. I've dealt with a few German customers here in Central Illinois that have moved here from for Caterpillar or for whatever else, and very direct people, very like this is the situation I'm in. Like very very like culture is very direct.
Yep.
This is what I expect. I've seen some cool cultural videos on TikTok, and she's saying German people are very not so much about the niceties. It's like German engineering. Think about how an engineer talks.
Right.
It's very to the point.
Yeah.
Which seem like very kind people.
They are.
Not like a beater on the bush type people.
No.
Yeah.
No. Very direct, very kind. I didn't see a single fight the whole year I was over there.
So were you paid to go there to play then?
Yes.
So was it like I'm sure it's not crazy amounts of money, but it's like enough to survive?
Yeah. I mean, they paid for the apartment they put you in. They gave me a little Audi car to drive around. And then, they give you some cash. I came back with a little bit and then got back to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, was that the plan all along, was to go there for a couple of years, experience playing international basketball and then come back? Or are you trying to make it big?
No, not really. I played college. I knew where I was at. But an agent reached out and said, hey, I might be able to get you a job. And I was like, okay. So go out to Vegas, go to this camp, got me a job. That's kind of how that happened. I wasn't planning on it. And then I was planning on coming back. But then at that point, it was the wife at that time was going to be a senior. She was going to graduate. I had a semester left to graduate. So it was like, do I go back and play? Do I stay and finish my schooling and graduate with her? And I ended up staying, graduating with her.
So you were still in college when you went to Germany?
I had just finished my 4 years playing.
I see.
But I still had a semester left to graduate.
I see.
Yep.
So you went over there, played, and then came back and graduated.
Right.
I see.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask, Tony, was since Country is based in Bloomington Normal and you are like local, your office is in North Peoria.
Off of Knoxville.
Off of Knoxville.
North Knoxville.
Like, yeah. So is there more pressure for agents here locally to like thrive in their company since the headquarters is so close? I guess I don't know how much like knowledge you have of the globe or like the whole company, but like
right.
I would assume around here you'd have to have a very high approval rating or like a high customer satisfaction being so close to HQ.
Right. I don't think that plays as much of a factor. Probably because I don't know how many of our clients know the headquarters is in Bloomington.
It's a big deal.
I would say that's one.
Blue Country's a massive company.
It's a big deal to you. They are a massive company because you play with the higher ups.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty important. So, but no, the Peoria agency is one of the top agencies.
I see.
100%. We have, last year we had the new rep of the year and Joey Olson, who's a great rep.
I know Joey Olson.
Yeah, you do.
Or I think I do.
Everybody hears him on the radio.
Does he have a country commercial?
He does. No, Joey's good people. Big hockey family.
Okay.
Right. Grandpa started hockey in Peoria. Big hockey family.
Very cool.
And then Josh Rickenall was the national champion
for
last
country.
year for country.
For the most policies written, or
yes.
Okay.
Right. Big, hitting numbers. Right. They're kind of standards for that. So that's two of our. I think we have 25, 27 agents that are in the Peoria agency.
I see.
So if you go across the river, that's a whole different agency.
I see.
Yep. So, and then on top of those two, I mean, we have 4 or 5 other that are top agents in the entire company. So the Peoria agency is, and it's competitive, which I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to top those guys all the time.
What's the thing to make an insurance agent? If you were to be coaching somebody who's brand new in the insurance industry, like give me top 3 things that you would advise somebody to go after coming in the insurance industry.
Yeah, build relationships,
networking.
Go talk to people. Get comfortable talking to strangers. That would be 1. 2 would be to answer your phone. That's one. I did a presentation at our networking group one time, and it was, these are the things I do really well and why you should do business with me. And number 1 was I answer the phone. And if I don't answer the phone, I'm calling you back as soon as I possibly can. Yeah. Like it bothers me if somebody calls and I don't get back with them within a day.
Yeah.
It bothers me. I don't leave text unread. That bothers me when people have 30 text messages. What are you doing? People want to talk to you. You could make a difference in their life right now. So answer the phone, build relationships. God, and the last thing, it's really easy to have a great morning. And any business owner knows this. Have a great morning, hit numbers for the day, and then at noon, cut out.
Coast.
And go golf or something. It's really easy to do that. So try to have more days where you hit your numbers and then you stay from 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, then, and have less days of hit your numbers and go golf. You can still have a couple of days.
I have, maybe this is something that you have as well, Tony, but I have this in my head all the time. No matter how successful of a year I've had, in the industry that I'm in, it's you're only as good as your last sale, or only as good as your last month. So you might have the best month of your life in June of whatever year, but then once July hits, it's back to 0.
Right.
And so, but I also no matter how successful, quote unquote, I become, it's I never feel like I've arrived. That's just my internal motor, is I've never felt like I'm just there.
Right.
So I have to take moments sometimes, even just to be no, I'm doing well. Like I can talk to our team and say we're having a great year or quarter or whatever. It's hard for me to celebrate successes. I'm always like, what's the next thing?
Right.
If I have a great day, great sale day, it's what's tomorrow.
Right.
So it's always it's a constant drive. Maybe I'm like defective or something. I just never feel like I'm satisfied through that. Maybe you feel the same way where it's like you just have a constant churning of keep on going.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say one, try to find a group where you can enjoy those wins. Right. You need to do that. I love the be hard on yourself kind of mindset. I love that it's not good enough. I firmly believe, I don't know, I firmly believe because I'm not smart enough to know, but that comes from being a father, right? You never quite sure if you're doing the right thing. You're never quite sure if you're doing enough, right, for them to set them up for success. And I think that bleeds over then into the other aspects of your life, your work, your relationship, being a husband, being a son. Now that you're a father to your mother and father, that once you be a father, you being a son changes.
It does, and your perception of it.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah. So I like that because then you're always going to be improving, but at the same time, find a group that you can say, hey, listen to what I did. And they'll pat you on the back, right? Yeah. And then it's done. It's over with. You'll feel good about it. And then, like you said, tomorrow's a new day. Go win the day.
I look back at pictures and videos of years ago, like 3-4 years ago, even 8 years ago when I first became a father, 9 years ago. I look back at pictures of certain things, like certain moments. And I'm like, oh, looking back at it now, it's special. Yeah. Like in the moment, it doesn't feel that special.
Right.
Like in the same way of building a company, it's like, I don't see what we're doing and like necessarily appreciate it in the moment. But like a year later, I'll look back and be like, oh yeah, that was a pretty pivotal moment in our company's history or something.
Right.
So I actually enjoy being that way. Not that I'm not celebrating successes totally. When we have big successes, I'm high-fiving the team, right? Yeah. But it lasts for a very short time.
Right.
I have a drive in me that's very big and I want to accomplish something. I was asked in a group not too long ago, like, what is the goal of being a business owner? What is the goal of being, even doing this podcast or doing anything that I do? And my response was, I want to accomplish the impossible in my own mind. Whatever was impossible to me a year ago, all of a sudden becomes like possible.
Right.
And whatever I thought was a big deal, now it doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore. I want to keep dragging that line forward. Right. Not that I'm money hungry. Money's probably the last thing I'm motivated by. But it's like, what can I accomplish, Tony, that at 75 years old, I can look back on and be like, I did that.
Right.
That was really cool. I don't want to sit in my deathbed when I'm however old and say like, I wish I would have.
Right.
It's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And I know that I'm 35 years old now. I got time on my hands. Right. It's like, I talk to a lot of people that are older and they're like, man, you're so young. Right. You're 35. Yeah. Even though I feel like I'm older now, like I'm growing into a man, but and even at 50, I feel like that's still pretty young. Right. Comparatively. Right. Yeah. We have time. We can really run hard if we try. If we really just waking up every day looking for that next thing. Right. So I don't know if you were in our group when I talked about, so Eric Thomas. Yes. E.T. Okay. Yeah. He had this talk. He came and spoke to country and it was amazing. First of all, he is amazing. I love his energy. I used to listen to him all the time. He could say anything. I know. But his energy, you'll get behind him. It's contagious. Yeah. You'll follow him. Yeah. So he's talking about, everybody wants to be a lion. Yeah. Right. Did you hear my talk on this? Time to do what lions do, or no. So he talks about everybody wants to be a lion, and I talk to like the ICC men's basketball team. I go around and I'll have this kind of conversation with basketball teams or other businesses with their employees, and he talks about everybody wants to be a lion. And with the ICC men's team, I'm like, usually everybody I talk to, there's somebody in the group that has a tattoo of a lion on them. I do. Yeah. And one of the kids, everybody points, he's like, yeah, he's got like 3 of them. I'm like, yeah, everybody wants to be a lion, right? They're the king of the jungle. They're big, strong, powerful, and we talk about how lions hunt, right? And they'll go hunt and they'll get a big meal and then they'll sit around for 3 days. Yeah. Right. They're satisfied with their kill, right? And then they lose the next 3 days. And so Eric goes into more depth on this, but then he says, you don't want to be a lion.
You want to be an African wild dog. And we're like,
never heard of that before. Nobody has a tattoo of that on their body.
Nobody's got a tattoo of African wild dog. So then he talks about how that they hunt in packs, they hunt together, and they don't stop. They can run. And if the prey moves a direction, they move in a direction. And if the prey gets tired and starts walking, they'll just start walking. And they'll just wait till it goes over and they'll get it and they'll bring it back. Everybody will eat it. And then guess what they do the next day?
Keep on going.
The very same thing.
Yeah.
So they win the day, right? They don't take the time off. They're eating every day. Mm-hmm. And they have like it's one of the highest success rates when hunting compared to a lion, which is not one of the highest. So I've had that talk. I kept that with me. I had that talk with my kids. And so now my 6th grader, Kale, has a picture of an African wild dog stuck up on his wall in his room.
Yes.
And it's don't be a lion, be an African wild dog. Yeah. Win the day every day.
I'll choose a tiger.
There you go. There you go. I don't know what the hunt rate is of a tiger.
I don't either. I know they're good. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Who's the guy? David Goggins or somebody else like that. They said, no matter how much I feed my dog, they're never satisfied. They'll just keep on eating.
Right.
It's just true.
Be a dog.
Yeah, but it's I have a large appetite, but it's like,
yeah, you do.
I'm not trying to become something outside of what I was made to be. I'm trying to stay in my lane of what God created me to be and just be that. And so like when I see other entrepreneurs building $50 million companies or $100 million companies, it's almost like, no, I'm not going to listen to that. I just want to be what I'm called to do and just continue to be faithful in that.
Right.
The comparison is where we get really twisted, where I'm like, oh, I wish I was. No. I'm made to be in Peoria, Illinois. This is where I'm made to be. I know it. It's like my wife and I are planted here. I love being a Normal in Bloomington and in Peoria. I can't build a $100 million roofing company in Peoria, Illinois. I can't. Like I would have to take over the whole market. Yeah. You know, in Chicago, maybe. In Miami, maybe. In Los Angeles, the projects are larger. I was talking to a guy not too long ago, Tony, down in, he lives in the south of Florida, and he's a $15 million roofing company. And I was like so impressed having a conversation. And I was like, how many jobs do you do per year? He's like, 400. And I was like, I did 400 last year.
Yeah.
I did the same amount. But the average house in south of Florida is $1 million, right? Yeah. He's working on projects. So like we live, you know what the houses are here,
yep.
right? And the people and the average price. And so it's like, I physically cannot do that. And nor would I want to be. It's like, I need to be faithful in where I'm at and keep taking steps forward and not get caught up in the mix of comparing myself to someone else.
Yep.
Big flag. And
yep.
I've done that so many times.
Yep.
And it makes you feel like you're not worthy.
Right. This is again another thing that sports, get your kids in sports.
Yeah,
get them in it. This is something that if you can get a good coach, a good mentor, they will teach you compete, don't compare. That was something I learned from sports. Compete, don't compare. Because how many times are you in sports and you're sitting on the bench and I'm better than that kid. I can do that. No, just go beat him in practice. Then go compete, don't compare. Parents do the same thing. They're comparing their son. Little Johnny did this. Well, little Tommy over there is doing it too. You're going to set little Johnny up for failure by doing that.
Yeah.
You're teaching him to compare.
Yeah. I started playing tennis. I loved basketball back in the day. I started playing tennis to prepare for basketball season. I was 4'11".
Okay. You're ready to compete.
It's like 5 foot tall. I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Play some defense. And I was like, I'll just play tennis just in the meantime.
Yeah.
So my foot lateral quickness will get better.
Okay.
I turned out to be a really good tennis player, like from the jump. They're like, you should really dive into this. So I did. And I played tennis in high school and in college.
I love it.
And so it's like that one small step of like, and by the way, like I was not a good basketball player. Like, I was okay, but I was like 5 foot tall, bro.
Right.
You can only be so good if you're 5 foot tall in basketball.
You got to shoot the hell out of the ball.
Dude, and I wasn't. Yeah. So I was like, I could play defense, but there's not much space for a defensive specialist on a high school team, right? But those small moments of like realizing who you are as a human being change you. Because it's like, no, actually my skills are more set towards hand-eye coordination and quickness, which tennis court, you can be 4'6" if you can get the ball over the net.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter the height, right? So realizing my own potential as a human being and as an athlete was really important for me to like find my groove, find my niche, where basketball is a fun sport.
Right.
But height does matter quite a bit.
Yes, it does.
So
Yes, it does.
were you 6'2" in high school as well? Were you fully grown?
Yeah, I was like 6'1", and then I feel like junior year I was sprouted up to 6'2". So
Yeah. That's tall in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you
Especially
like a forward?
I was point guard.
Point guard.
I was
Your
point
team
guard.
was tall then.
Yeah. We had a good team.
Who was it? Were you with the guy that was really good, De'Aaron Williams?
I was.
Is that his name?
I'm gonna switch that around for you though. He was with me.
If De'Aaron, if you're watching this, bro,
yeah.
target on Tony.
D, you were with me. No,
He was good,
D's
bro.
my guy. D was really good. He was a freak athlete.
He went to U of I,
So he went to, he got a full ride to Wisconsin, right? And then it just not a good fit for him, right? Didn't work out. And then he came back to ICC, and then he went to Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
And they were D2 at the time. They're D1 now. A lot of D2s that played kind of in his conference, and then my conference with Minnesota State, or like South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Nebraska, Omaha, who's in the NCAA tournament this year. Those were all the teams that I was playing against. They were all D2 at that time.
How was your team in the conference that you played in?
We were good. We were 18-10 the first year, which that was the head coach's first winning year. It was only his second season there. And then we went on, my junior year, we were like number 2 in the nation.
For D2?
Uh-huh.
Dang.
We went to the Sweet 16 my senior year.
They have a D2 like March Madness type
Same
tournament.
thing. NCAA tournament, 64 teams. Yep. But same coach is still there. They won the national championship last year.
They won the national championship.
Had a good team. He's taken another.
Same coach that you had?
Same coach.
That's legit.
Taking another squad to the Final Four again. And he's had great success there. Yeah.
That's got to be cool to watch.
It is. Yeah. It is. I was watching that game. They won on a last second, basically buzzer beater.
That's sick.
And I was going nuts in the living room, and I'm texting the head coach. He don't see it, but I'm like, that awesome, let's go. I'm jumping up and down, and no, he deserves it, man. He's a good human being.
How has being an athlete transitioned to being because insurance is like eat what you kill type business. So has that translated the things you learned from being an athlete into a business owner?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like we spoke on earlier, you got to show up.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be late to practice.
Go to work.
Right? You can't not come to practice and then expect to play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you got to go to work, compete, don't compare, right? Try to be the best. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, right? You know what you need to do it. All those things, man. The back to the non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good teammate, have a positive attitude, especially now. Worry about what you control, right? Pray about the rest.
Mm-hmm. How have you seen the generation? Do you feel like there's a generational gap with that, with younger kids?
With which part?
With just the appetite for success or working hard. I've heard that a lot in the, on the internet sphere of younger people.
Right.
And I've seen it as well.
I think obviously that starts at home.
Yeah.
At a young age. You're only going to get what you put into it. So that's anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if that starts at home, and then if you get them into sports, again, emphasizing that, hey, you don't put any time into it at home. You're not staying after practice. When I offer to take you up to the fields, you don't want to go. Mm-hmm. So when it comes game time and you're not playing as much, that's why, so I would always, with my high school teams, use an analogy of a bank, right? If you go to a bank and you haven't put any money into your account, are you going to be able to go there and take $1,000 out?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Basketball's the same way. What you're willing to put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah. I fear that with the internet, with the advent of the internet, I got the internet when I was like maybe 10, but really didn't start using a computer until I was in my teenage years.
Right.
Didn't have a smartphone until I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
So I had a basic phone for my whole life, essentially, growing up. With smartphones and with tablets and with readily accessible internet, it's never been easier to be lazy.
Yeah.
Never been easier. Never been easier to think you know things based on internet knowledge. For real.
Yeah.
The amount of people that think they know what they're talking about on the internet is pervasive, but it's you truly don't know something until you've done it.
Right.
Unless you know the intimate knowledge of it. I've heard it described as like somebody was selling skis on a mountain, right? Like they're selling skis on a mountain. And if you're like a ski salesman, like you and I could learn knowledge about skis.
Yeah.
But unless you've skied on the equipment and know how to turn from right to left and know how the ski turns and how a person who's experienced the equipment can speak on an infinitely deeper level than someone who just knows about it.
Right.
Right. In the same way is true in business. You truly don't know how to run a company or run an insurance agency unless you've done it.
Right.
And you can feel the ebbs and flows and you can feel the wins and losses and you know the feeling of your customers. Like there's a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
That young people generally, I think, shy away from in large part because they think they know.
Yeah.
Because you can like learn through courses
right.
to know how to make money. And it's just the amount of people making massive amounts of money through courses on the internet is so slim.
Right.
That you get, dude, there's a learning curve to everything.
Right.
And it takes a lot of sucking to get good. That you just have to start and suck at it for a period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody that started anything new sucked at it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. What, cause God, I mean, so I got 4 kids, right? And every one of them is completely different.
Yeah.
With how they handle failure, with how they handle new objectives, right? That we throw at them. Every one of them so different. Mm-hmm. All raised by the, okay. So, somebody was talking about it, which it kind of makes sense, right? No 2 siblings have the same parents.
Because you were different on the first and the fourth versus the fourth.
Whether you treat them differently, unknowingly, subconsciously, right? Whether you speak to them differently, whether your facial language is differently. But on top of that, me and my wife, right, in your marriage are different people.
Yeah.
Right? You have grown. You have had battles.
You've matured as a couple.
You've matured as a couple.
And as individuals too.
Right?
Yeah.
And so by my 4th child, I'm a much better father. So sorry to my first.
You experiment.
It just, it was my first time doing it and I sucked at it. Same thing with my wife, being a husband. It took, this July will be 15 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Which I don't know how we did it, but we did it, honey. But yeah, we had to go through some battles and we had to grow together and we're at a really good place right now. And, but yeah, it's true. You say, well, all your brothers and sisters, you had the same parents. You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah. And their individual experiences and their likes and dislikes. It's just,
right.
For my 3 kids, I can, my youngest is so young. He's only 8 months old, but my other 2, their personalities are so different.
Yeah.
That I want them to get into sports and they're just like not very interested.
Right.
They're doing swimming in the summertime, but like, they're just not as interested as I was as a young boy. Like I wanted to play all the time. Right. They're just like, I'd rather draw.
Right.
Like, okay. Not going to force you to play, right?
Right. Yep. Don't do that.
Yeah, but
that's not good.
The advent of the internet and the remember back when we watched TV, Tony? Like we didn't have we couldn't choose shows.
Yeah,
you just had to watch what was on,
and you had to watch the commercials.
You had to.
You had to.
I remember I was talking to somebody about this, like when commercials came on, running to the fridge, and getting a drink before sprinting back before the show started. You know what I mean? It's like an event,
right?
You couldn't pause it.
Yeah, now we just pause it and go to the bathroom, get your popcorn, come back, sit down, play. It is. It's become a lot more convenient, and like you said, it's easy to be lazy.
It is. It's never been easier to start a business and to know about how to run a business, but it's also never been easier to be lazy.
Right.
There's a duality to it.
And you can't be lazy and run a successful business.
No, dude, think about how much money you would have to pay back in the day, Tony, to learn courses on how to be a good insurance agent.
Right.
You had to go to conferences or meet people in your network. I could get onto YouTube right now and consume 12 hours of content on how to be the best agent in the country.
Right.
How I do that stuff is different, but the information's readily accessible. They couldn't do that 25 years ago.
No.
But it's also never been easier to watch a Joe Rogan podcast and ignore that information too.
Yeah, right. Every day to work is a 20-minute drive there, 20-minute drive home, and I'm listening to some insurance podcast. Whether it's marketing of it, sales of it, ins and outs of it, how to work leads, right? Just trying to get better.
Yeah. What's a nuance in the insurance company that somebody outside would not understand? But it's like talked about all the time, like a strategy. Is it like billboards, obviously with faces on it? That seems to be very popular.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to marketing, whatever you do, and you know this, whatever you do, you just have to do it consistently.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, God, it's gotten so expensive. Man. So, yeah. The marketing's big, but when it comes, man, so I'm real passionate about in life insurance. You and I have talked about this before.
Yeah.
But over the probably 2 years since it's been that you and I have talked about this, I have grown as a person, not just an insurance agent, right? And I've gone through experiences where loved ones didn't have it or had it, right? And gone through those. So now I have stories, right? And it's not a you need this conversation. It's, hey, this is what happened. How do you want to handle this? Mm-hmm. And it's, if you want something, then I will gladly help you out. I'm trying to find those people. So I talk to everybody, right? Van Miller is an older guy. He's a legend in our industry, in the life insurance industry. And he talks about how he works 8 months out of the year because he talks to everybody. When he says everybody, that means the old lady at the grocery store that's buying grapes. He'll just go up to her and goes, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question? If you don't want to answer, I'll buy you some grapes." And he'll ask her some questions, like, when did you decide to give the government 20% of your money? What? And he repeats it, and then it gets to a conversation, and then he's like, "Okay, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate your honesty there. That helped me out a lot. You have a good day." And of course, at the end of the conversation, she's like, whoa, hold on. Let me get your card. You're not leaving here. I want to talk more about this. Mm-hmm. And so it's just talking to people. You take no sales pressure, asking them questions, finding out where they're at. And if you can help them, help them.
The same can be said for any industry. Like literally everything is sales, industry. Right? But like, I think people are just nervous to make a fool of themselves.
Of course.
I think people generally, I get contractors who call me and they're like, "Hey, I see your content on Facebook. Like, how should I get started, or what should I do?"
Right.
And I'm like, hang up the phone right now, turn the video camera around, film a 30-second video about anything you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And put it on the internet.
Right.
And just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I bet you're going to find that people are like, "Oh yeah, I relate to that," or "Thanks for sharing," or whatever the case. And it makes these strange connections with people that you didn't know existed.
Right.
Like you're the person with a third grade with is like, "Hey dude, I love your content." You're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But like people are scared to say something out loud or like look at themselves in front of other people, and you got to get over that hump.
Yeah.
Because people are not thinking about you. They just don't. And we think they are.
Oh yeah. 100%.
We're like, "Oh yeah, he's judging every word that I say." No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. Somebody was saying just document. You don't have to spend a ton of time trying to create something or think of a plan. Just document what you're doing and post it. And I was like, "Oh, that's a really easy way to think of it." Document, don't create.
Yeah. It's Gary V's statement. It's true. It's really true. And I think it's really cool too, because I forget all the content that I make. I forget it. So I'll like look back from 2 years ago and be like, "Oh, I made that video." But it's kind of like a cool like life story. I'm telling my life story for my kids to look on my Facebook in the future. They don't even know this exists. Like imagine if my father was doing this when he was 35 years old. It'd be cool. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
It's like a living time capsule for my kids to look back and be like, "My dad was doing this."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's neat, man. It's like I'm building a business, but I'm also strengthening my community, and I'm leaving behind this legacy of like, this is what I accomplished throughout this time period.
Right.
We look back at history in the 1700s. We don't really exactly know what happens. We have stories, we have paintings, we have stuff, but imagine if we had a video of George Washington,
Crazy.
Crossing the Delaware, Betsy,
right,
making the American flag. It's like, this stuff is so crazy. Yeah, it's cool. Now we live in the age of the internet where like Donald Trump and Kamala and all the politics that have happened, everything is on the internet and on TV. It's like we have this active time capsule of stuff. It's crazy.
Right.
People in 100 years can look back and be like, "This time was nuts."
Oh,
they were wearing masks to play basketball.
Idiocracy.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's okay. So that movie, Idiocracy.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
Okay. You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the shoes?
Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was dying laughing when I found that out. I'm like, they were wearing Crocs and then, okay, yeah, now everybody's got Crocs.
Yeah.
Crocs are cool.
Yeah, Crocs were a small company at the time.
Yeah.
And they blew up after. I don't think it was because of the movie, but they blew up in the future.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, again, the story behind it was that the guy said nobody would wear these. Who would wear these? And so that's why they put him in the movie, because only dumb people would wear them, right? That was the whole theory behind it. And then, of course, they just blow up.
I had to almost turn that movie off at the end because I was just like, this movie's it's so over the top.
It's so bad.
It's so over the top. Somebody's like, oh, you got to watch this film. I'm like, I'll watch it. I was like, this movie's so stupid. It is so dumb.
It is called Idiocracy.
It is, but it's like, that's the point, I suppose. But
yeah.
Man, this speaks to my like non-functioning brain on this level. And like, I think Terry Crews is the president, right?
He is.
I love old movies, by the way. I don't know if are you a movie fan at all?
Yeah.
Like 80s, 90s, like original storylines, right? Like I rewatched the movie Groundhog Day.
Okay.
Remember that one with Bill Murray?
Yep.
Like original storylines like that happen in that time period. There's something about the cinematography in those films that's just like 90s or 80s.
Right.
You can see it.
I'm a big horror movie fan.
Oh,
love horror movies.
Thank you. What's your favorite?
Love horror movies. When I was a kid, I loved and hated Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
Because I had a waterbed.
Oh yeah.
And I would watch, but then I wouldn't sleep at night. But then I'd watch it 2 nights later and I wouldn't sleep. I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? Of course, all the Friday the 13th are fantastic. The Shining, of course, is a fantastic film.
I can't watch those movies anymore just because they give me the heebie-jeebies. I can't sleep at night.
Yeah. But then I do like the new ones too. I do like the new ones.
Keep that out of my house, Tony.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, when I used to go to a babysitter, and the older kid, he was like 7 years older than us. He had a poster of Chucky on the back of his door.
Yeah.
It was so creepy. Like the original Chucky doll.
Right.
I was so scared of it as like a 6-7-year-old, you know. I remember seeing that. Sam Monkton, shout out to your brother, Matt Monkton. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Marriage is fun, man. It's going back to what you were saying earlier about change, just kind of evolving with your wife. You don't only mature, you mature in many different ways, in many different disciplines. You mature as your individual, your own person. You mature as a husband and a spouse, and you mature as a father.
Right.
It's a fascinating combination. And I see myself, Tony, as a 35-year-old more so than ever, of like, it's my time to step up and be super mature and reliable. Like I'm not a 25-year-old anymore.
Right.
I turned that corner a while ago, but I'm saying like maybe at 30 or 29 or 28, I didn't see myself as a mature adult yet.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though I had kids, it was like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm a young parent. Like I'm taking my parenting and my ability to be a husband very seriously. Because I want to build something super special.
Right.
Right. And it's like one of the most important things we'll ever be.
Oh yeah.
Is to be an amazing spouse.
100%.
Yeah. Even after our kids are grown out of the house.
Yeah.
You still have your wife to mature with.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Monica, don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have life insurance for you. So.
No.
Yet.
Monica, he doesn't. This has been perfect.
Yeah.
This has been
so pull out the insurance sheet.
Yeah,
Let's go over it right now.
Right now. Going back to it's easy to be lazy, man. With divorce rates higher than they've ever been, it's marriage is not easy. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of work. And if you don't grow and if you're not willing to do things that you don't want to do, which is being a man 101, you have to do things that you don't always want to do. It's really that simple. And so we've been through ups and downs in our marriage, but like I said, we're at a really good spot right now. And, you know what? Something I want to bring up. I'm going to talk about my wife a little bit.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind.
She is being a surrogate right now.
She's carrying a baby?
She's carrying a baby.
Wow.
For one of my childhood best friends and his wife.
That's amazing.
And so she's doing, and it's been like 2 or 3 years at trying this because they tried a few different ways first, and those just didn't take. And so she had a couple miscarriages. And then they tried a different way, and now that has taken.
How many months has it been?
Well, she's big now. She's due late April.
Wow.
So she's almost ready to pop. But that, for her to do that, I tell people all the time, she's the toughest person I know.
So that is, it's this couple's, both their genes implanted in her, or is it half of her?
The dad's, it's not half of her, the dad's, and then an egg, a donor's egg.
Wow.
Yep. So it has nothing to do with Joanne besides what she puts in her body. But
some added pressure.
Yeah. But no, that was, I mean, even with it being my childhood best friend, I love the guy. But we had to have a pretty serious conversation about the whole process. And if at any point it's baby or wife, like, I'm sorry, but she's the one coming out of this. Like, she's got 4 kids and she's got me, and we need her. And that's going to be the decision that gets made. And they were totally on board with that. They understood that, which I don't know how all people would view that. But for me in that situation, that was the decision that had to be made. And thankfully, we haven't had to make that decision, and everything's gone really smooth right now. And so we're hoping for the best here at the end. But yeah, no, she decided to kind of sacrifice her time and body and provide, one of the best gifts that we can give to anybody.
That's incredible, dude. So she's going to have the baby, and then they're there at the birth.
Hospital. Yep.
And then you just literally hand them over, sign the sheet, and say, yeah.
That's it.
That's crazy, dude. I've never heard anyone actually, I've heard of stories like that, but I don't know anybody in my personal circles who's done that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
That had to be a very interesting dinner night.
It was, it was some drinks involved, and they were talking about the whole process of trying to have one and adopt one, and they went through everything. I mean, they tried everything. And then they brought that up, and she was like, I'll do it. And I looked at her and I was like, whoa, hold on. Let's talk about this for a second.
Wait till tomorrow to decide this.
Yeah. And then multiple talks later, I was like, all right, if you want to do this, it's your body, it's your decision.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how many years has this been in the making since she had a couple miscarriages?
Yeah, no, I want to say it's been like almost 2 years.
So she's been having to try to get pregnant for 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy because she's got to give herself shots. She's got to fake her body into thinking it's pregnant before it's pregnant.
Yeah,
to get ready to. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Females are extremely tough individuals.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Not believe it. Yeah. That's amazing, dude. So your childhood friend propositioned you with this. She accepts and says, yeah, let's do it. And then you jump in shortly thereafter to start going to doctor visits. That had to be kind of strange for you.
Not really.
No, that's strange. I guess it's interesting that your wife is pregnant, but it's not yours.
Yeah. I tell everybody that.
Yeah, it's a funny
I tell everybody that.
Joke to a waiter or waitress. Yeah.
Oh, people I know, people that just don't, because it's not like we're going around projecting it or except for right now. No, everybody, oh, congratulations, you're having a baby. I was like, yeah, it's not mine.
Your wife's like, dang it.
Then they'll just look at me, and she plays along so well. Oh, it's awesome. She's like, yeah, it's not his. Just smug about it. I'm like, God, I love you.
That's going to be interesting to hear her perspective after giving birth, because birth is obviously very intense. So having the baby, usually there's this amazing moment afterward where they start, sit with the mother.
We've talked about that. I think mentally she's ready for it. And I think it helps that she's got 4 of her own back at home waiting for her.
I bet.
I think that'll help. But do I think she's going to struggle with it a little bit? 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I know a couple of people who do foster care.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like you take them in for the short period of time. You don't know how long they're going to stay with you. And then once they get called back to their homes, it's like you have to give up this child that you just built a connection and bond with.
Right.
It's really difficult for those mothers to do that.
Yeah.
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 Moms, what would we do without them? Yeah, that's incredible, dude. That's a great story. I'm sure that there's a whole community of people that are doing this you're connected to now. Or maybe she's a part of Facebook groups or
maybe she is. I don't know. Like you said, I didn't know of anybody else that had done this before her. Now her sister-in-law up in Minnesota is being a surrogate. So I don't know, maybe she started something.
My, one of our employees, his sister, I think is a surrogate as well for like celebrities.
Really?
She like can't say who she's had babies for, but yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could be easily a full-time job.
I mean, it's expensive. I don't know if you guys got paid to do it, but it's like, there's some expense to it.
She's getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
which you should. I mean,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Is she having a natural birth?
Yeah, she's a beast.
All natural, bro. I mean, that process is.
I told you, she's the toughest person I know.
Dude. That's my wife too.
No, mine's.
Okay, yeah. I can imagine giving birth, dude. I could do a lot of things, but giving birth is not one of them.
Heck,
like if it was even a thing that was possible, I would still be like, babe, this is all you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can do this for me.
Yeah. Bro. I can't give blood, Tony. I can't. Don't stick my arm. Don't touch me with those needles, bro. I don't want them. I don't.
I know.
Can't do it, dude.
Trust me, I know.
13 years old, got blood taken, passed out. Never again. I'm like, never again. That's amazing, dude. So how old are you now, Tony? You're in your 40s now? Or you're like late 30s?
39.
39. So you're turning 40 this year.
I'll be 40 in June.
How does that feel? Are you preparing for 40?
I'm preparing to have a party.
Yeah.
I'm preparing to enjoy it.
How have you, let me ask you this then. I'm 35, about to be 36 here next week.
Yeah.
This week. I love my 30s. Like my 30 to 36 has been fantastic.
Right.
Capping off a decade, how has your 30s been compared to your 20s?
Oh, both fantastic. Different, of course. You know, my 20s, I traveled the world and was playing basketball, and it was fantastic. And then my 30s, it was having babies and starting a family, and which is a whole different type of joy. Finding my lifelong career, in my 30s. I mean, it's been unique. I've learned so many life-changing things talking to people. I would say I've grown the most by far in my 30s. Yeah, by far.
I've heard from people that 40s are better than your 30s.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too.
Man, I got a great group of parent friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm growing my network every day.
Yeah.
I met Karen Lewis. Do you know Karen Lewis?
Yes.
Shout out to Karen Lewis.
Yeah.
She is an amazing person.
Yeah.
And I met her just because at the networking group,
mm-hmm.
I asked, hey, I want to do something. I want to meet 60 new people in the next 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know that would be willing to sit down and just have a lunch with me? I want to meet them. I want to learn something. And she's an amazing person.
Yeah, she is.
She's an introvert. And so I asked her, what did you do when I text you? And was like, hey,
you don't know me.
Yeah, you don't know me. Aaron gave me your number. I would love to take you out to lunch and just get to know you a little bit. He said that I would benefit from meeting you. And it took her about 2 days to respond, but we finally set up a time and we met. And we talked for like an hour and a half at lunch.
Awesome.
And she was awesome. And I texted her after, thanks for your time. I know how valuable it is. I hope this isn't a one and done. I look forward to getting to know you better.
Awesome.
And so I'm excited about that. So I ask every Thursday. That's my ask.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking for business.
Smart. Yeah, dude, your network is your net worth in a lot of ways, and who you know to solve problems is like super valuable. I think that's one of the things that I try to impart on our younger employees and younger people in general. Like, just do stuff that's hard. Do stuff that you suck at right now. Suck it up. Your 20s, you're going to not make much money. You're going to like kind of probably hate your life because you don't really have much direction.
Right.
But just be where your feet are and do something hard. Meet other people, ask them for advice, and people will tell you. They'll just like tell you their life story. It's really cool.
Right.
But I've heard from a lot of people, 30s are great, 40s are better. I've heard from a lot of people, 50s are amazing too.
Yeah.
But also 40s and 50s, you start to probably lose your parents.
Right.
Probably. It's in that 40 to 60 range. So that's really difficult to deal with. I've heard that peak stress happens at 44 for the average American.
Interesting.
Yeah. You got to think college costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're taking on more shoulder with dealing with your parents getting older.
Right.
Right. It's like 44 is like peak stress. But I've heard from a lot of people, 40s, you're like solidified in your career. You know what you're doing. Your peak money making age is in your 50s. It's 55.
I believe that.
I do too.
Yep.
So we're on the way up still.
I love it.
Yeah, we got some time, bro.
No more peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, dude, we can afford a steak every once in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got time, man. We got time on our side, and I think people, when I envision myself at 22 turning 30, I was like, oh, that's ancient. You know,
Yeah.
it's just 30 is a baby still.
Right.
22 is an infant.
Yeah.
You graduate from college, you come out, you're like, oh, I'm going to tackle the world.
Right.
No, you're an idiot. You know? You are dumb.
Right. Right.
You need to learn the basics of how to be a decent contribute to society, not
Right.
just some guy going to the bars every weekend.
Right. Yeah.
But so yeah, it's like life changes and you don't really know what to expect until you get there. But I feel like more than ever, I have a really solid perspective on what older people think about being 35.
Yeah.
And so many of them are like, cherish this moment. And I feel that. I'm like, I have to cherish this and like soak it all in, you know?
Yeah.
I would assume the same thing for 39 and 40.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing fantastic.
We both are.
We're
born in the US of A, baby. Come on, baby.
I would go back. I'll pat you on the back. You talking about your employees doing things that you're not good at, getting out of your comfort zone, right? Talking to people, meeting people, starting a podcast, posting on social media, whatever it is you don't like to do, but it will help you. You need to do it. You do a good job of not just expressing that to them verbally, but you lead by example.
I try.
You've been doing, ever since I've known you, that's what you've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just do it, Tony.
I know you do.
I just do things, man. I think that's one of the benefits of having a good, not a very good memory. I don't, dude. I don't remember very many. I'm for real. I don't have a very good memory. And so they'll be like, yeah, you did this like 6 years. I'm like, I don't remember. But like, I don't remember. I have such a short memory of like losses that I've had.
Yeah.
I play pickleball, Tony, pretty often. And people have one bad point and remember it for the entire rest of the match and like be down on themselves. I'm just like, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
30 seconds after it happened. And I think that's the same characteristic I take to business of like, if I fail at something, it's gone.
Right.
What's the next thing on the docket? And maybe that's the same way that I just related to earlier in the conversation of like, I don't really soak in successes very often either.
Right.
Until I really have to take a moment and be like, pause. Let's really celebrate this. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. I just try things, man.
Yeah.
I just try things. And then if I catch a little bit of fire on it, I just blow as hard as I can. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Make it go.
I like that.
Yeah.
But no, that's why I enjoy being around you. You're contagious.
Contagious, baby.
Yeah.
Tiger Stripes.
And people, you'll attract the same type of people, which I'm sure you've already realized that.
Yeah. I think there's a certain level of somebody who's doing it. It's the man in the arena.
Right.
If they're doing it, I respect it.
Right.
No matter what industry they're in. If they're doing it, I'm like, I see you.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you.
Right.
Give me some insight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's fun once you start to surround yourself with those same people, your network starts to compound.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is all about. Is like my network seeing you and your network seeing me. It's like we're together, right?
Right.
So it's this contagious nature of we're both doing it in these opposite industries that are also somewhat aligned.
Right.
Same thing to you, Tony. You do answer the phone every time. You're fun to be around. You're professional. You learn. And you're like adapting to the business. You didn't talk about life insurance 5 years ago. Didn't seem like.
No.
Seemed like it's been a big point of contention or a big point of emphasis for you the past 2 years. So yeah, it's like getting in the arena, sucking at certain things, getting good at certain things, and evolving as you go to go up in a wider array of business and to more and more things. It's contagious feeling, Tony, to know you're getting better at something.
Right.
Like you're becoming more of a professional.
I feel like that's a driving force.
Yeah.
To get better. I don't know. I don't know if everybody's like that. Like, I got to be better. I want to be around people that are going to make me better.
Yeah,
that I'm going to learn something from. Mm-hmm. And if I can give them something in return, that's a bonus. But if they can make me better, whether that's holding me accountable, right? Whether that's, hey, you're not working as hard as you think you are. Thank you. I needed that. Now I'm going to go, can we cuss on here?
Sorry, this is your
We're going to go
podcast.
kick butt. When I get competitive, I get riled up.
You can tell, but this is with athletics too, Tony.
Yeah.
You know the dogs.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Almost within 10 minutes, you're like, that
100%.
guy's going to put it on the floor.
100%.
In sales or in insurance sales or in roofing sales, it's the same way.
Yeah.
You put a couple dogs in the room and they're competing and they're getting, you can know who the top performer is going to be.
Right.
And similarly, you know who people are going to just mosey around.
Yep.
You can't teach that.
I don't think you can.
No.
I don't think you can.
Appetite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it at a young age. You see it at a young age.
For your kids.
Yeah. My little Chloe. Oh, Chloe's going to be a beast. She's going to be.
How old is she?
She's 6.
She's just ripping and roaring.
She's in kindergarten. And she made it to state gymnastics competition.
At 6?
At 6, which is crazy.
That is crazy. I didn't know they had state
I didn't
gymnastics.
I didn't either. There were some girls there that are amazing though. But so she went to her regional one in East Peoria. You had to get a certain score to get qualified for state. Her and one other girl from her.
This is that place off of Springfield Road there, that big facility. Is it Springfield Road?
In
East Peoria, you said?
Oh no, this is at God, what's it called?
What town?
No, it's in East Peoria. It's the big complex.
On the hill.
Yeah.
Off the hill.
Yeah.
Springfield Road.
East Side Center.
Oh, East Side?
Yeah, East Side Center.
There's a gymnastics place at East Side?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, well, they just have that big gym and they put mats and everything down. And
Up on the
set
top
all the
rail
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they did that. So they went there. She got her score. She goes on. The coaches tell us, hey, she qualified for state. And we're like, what? Like, we thought this was it. So we go up to Bourbonnais. We go down to Rantoul all day Saturday for soccer games. And then we leave Rantoul and go up to Bourbonnais, stay the night because she had to be at her competition at 8:30 in the morning. So we get up, we go to that. She competes in that. She places in the beam. That was the only thing she placed in. So she got 1 medal. And again, we didn't care. Hey, honey.
Places like top 3?
No. So there they did for her age group, which I don't even know how high it went, but for her age group, they did top 11 at state.
That's a huge deal though.
Yeah. So she got that, which I don't care if she medaled at all, right? You tried your best. She has a great attitude. God, she has fun. She's down there waiting her turn. She's dancing, like I love her attitude. And but then afterwards she comes up when it's all said and done and she's pouting. She's got a look on her face. She's disappointed. And she comes up, she hugs me and she's like, I only got 1 medal. And she starts crying. I'm like, I turn to Joe and I'm like, I love it. And then, so we talk about, hey, you want more medals. We start talking about the work ethic talk.
Yeah.
We're like, I like this. You're competitive. You want to win. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now what does it take to win? So if she would have come to me and said, oh, that was so much fun. Oh, we loved watching you play. And then we would have been done.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had that conversation. So it's going to be interesting. And of course, the 2 littles are always the best because they see the 2 olders. They see the effort. They see the work. So they know they got to do it.
Is she your youngest or is she the third?
She's the youngest.
Youngest.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got 3 examples and had to
Yeah. Chan Man's in first grade.
In the same way that you can't really teach that mentality to any one of your kids.
No.
It's like they got to actually want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be gratifying to have, you at least have one. Who's going to be just like
one for sure. There might be 3 there, but kindergarten, I was pretty surprised by that.
Yeah.
For her to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting.
It is interesting. We'll be excited to watch you develop, Chloe.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
What else do you want to leave the people with, Tony, as we're wrapping up here? What's a takeaway? Tony Thomason on the clock. What's your takeaway to the people?
Oh God. I would, you brought it up and I didn't know how we wanted to touch on it, but you brought up faith, right? And God's plan. I would say if that's one thing that we could leave people with, it would be finding faith, finding the big man upstairs, because when it comes to business or relationships or being a father or being a coach. I didn't learn this till later in my coaching career, and even volunteering now with my kids. I'm so much better of a coach because I really focus on the things that I can control, and I pray about the things I can't. And that means I pray every day, multiple times. And you just let it go. You trust him completely to take it off your shoulders.
Yeah.
And you let it go. And you get back to worrying and focusing and putting all your effort on the things that you can control.
It's good. Fear is an inch deep and a mile wide. And once we step out and feel that fear is just, it's a figment of our imagination. Things become possible that seemed impossible just a minute ago.
100%.
And through God, all things are possible. And I believe that. I believe that the enemy or the devil likes to convince us that we just can't.
100%.
You know?
100%.
For whatever reason that is. And he uses different ways to try to convince us those things. But I truly believe that as we are on this earth, this short period of time, Tony, I blinked twice and I went from 13 to 35.
Yeah.
I'm going to blink twice again and I'm going to be 70.
Yeah.
We're going to be through this life if I'm blessed enough to make it that age.
Yeah.
So we have this opportunity in front of us in the richest country in the history of the world. And we are sitting here like we were blessed to even be here and not the untouchables in India. Not that there's anything against that. I love those people.
Right.
But man, what an opportunity we have.
Yeah.
To not complain about our lives and to really make the most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, last story here, have you heard the $1 million story?
Yes. But
Okay.
you can go tell it.
Okay. Yeah. So, for all you listening that have not heard this yet, and if you have, it's a good reminder.
It is a good reminder.
You got to remind yourself of these things. Okay. So if I write $1 million check, I put Ben Morrow on it and I give you that check, you're going to be pretty happy.
I think pretty happy.
You're going to be pretty happy. Best day of your life? If somebody just gives you $1 million?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So best day of his life. Right? One of the best days of his life. Just gave him $1 million, tax free.
That's
now we're talking.
It's an important asterisk.
Tax free.
Okay. So it's under the table. It's cash.
Under the table, cash in a briefcase. No, leather black bag.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, leather black bag. Give you that $1 million. You're happy, right? What would be the first thing you buy? Just a curious question for you now.
I had to think about that for a while.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Maybe some real estate or.
Oh, God, that's boring.
I know.
I thought
like
of all
investment.
people, you would have something.
I know.
Entertaining.
I'm a pretty boring guy outside of basics.
That's not true at all. Okay, so $1 million. Now, if I say I'll write you a check, same thing, under the table, cash, tax free, give you $1 million, but this will be your last day on earth. You won't wake up tomorrow morning. Would you still take the $1 million?
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
You would take the $1 million?
Sure.
And then
if I had to die?
Yeah, if you take it, you don't wake up.
No, certainly not.
Okay, so you wouldn't take it, right? So what you're saying is just waking up tomorrow morning. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but just waking up is worth more than $1 million.
Yeah, probably $1 billion.
Everybody would answer that question the same way, right? But we don't act like that.
We don't.
Right. So,
it's in the same way, Tony, you were talking about you having your health earlier, first part of the podcast, and how thankful you are to have your arms and legs. And the coach was telling you about that.
Right.
Like the minute you get sick and you're bedridden, you're like, oh man, I'm thankful I just want to be healthy. But then when we're healthy, we don't really think about it. We just kind of take it for granted. But it's such a true thing.
Right.
Of like if I'm 85 years old and have Parkinson's or can't function as well as I could at I'm 35, it's like we pine for the day.
Yeah.
Just walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to have those reminders in these times because it's so easy to take life for granted.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's a lesson, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't
take it for granted.
Wake up
worth more than $1 million.
Like you just got $1 million.
That's right. And we are
fantastic.
Let's go.
I love it.
Ronnie, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, Ben.